to page 476. We're gonna have a lot of homework today. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Oh, that was very polite and cute. How's everybody doing?
Great!
That's cool. I think it also like a better share around that. That's cool. All right. Well, hello everybody. My name is Keith Silverstein. I have been doing voiceover in video games and anime and well, pretty much whatever they'll hire me on. I'm down. I like to work. For about 26 years now, so all kinds of different fun stuff. And we're just doing a little Q&A, so I will give you a couple of ground rules. No math questions. Please and thank you. You can ask them, I'm not going to answer them. I'm not going to get it done. You can't trap me. The only other question I don't want is how do I get into the industry? I will tell you right now, there's a wonderful website called iwannabeavoiceactor.com. by D. Bradley Baker, so you can go there and pretty much any of your questions about how do I get started will be there. The first step is always take an acting class. I don't care what kind. It could be theater class, it could be an improv class, it could be a voiceover class. That's your start because it is acting. But other than that, pretty much any question I'm down for. It can be not voiceover related if you like. If you want to know my favorite cereal, feel free to ask. I have no problem with that. That's not secret information. The internet probably already knows it, so it's all out there. So we have a mic for everybody else, though, right? Wait, I mean, maybe there was another one in here.
There's more in there.
I know. Is it that easy? Check. Did it just happen to grab the one that works? It doesn't matter, I got one that works. You guys are loud, though, right? You're young, you're loud. Woo! Wait, who just did that? I like that I said, you're loud, right? Your response was, you're gonna love that. That was great. That's perfect. You guys are loud? Yeah! Whenever I say you guys are loud, right? You guys go, yeah! Quietly. You guys are loud, right? Yeah! It's like, the question is better, you guys. That's the joke. That's how it works. All right, so who's got the first question to get me started for? You're up. What's up?
So was there any like audition like where you did the character really good but you didn't get it?
Oh, well that's interesting. Yes, I'm sure there was. Now, I always say what you're looking for an audition, like when you audition and you send that off, you want to be proud of it. Like you want to, not like I'm going to get this for 100% because you never know that. It's just like I made a strong choice. I'm confident with that choice. It may or may not be the right choice. We never know why we don't get a part. You know what I mean? Like maybe I sound too much like the other guy who they've already cast in it. It could be a lot of different reasons. But if you're proud of your audition, that's all you need to do. You've done your job. And you get it or you don't get it. But more things for all of us. We don't get more things than we get. Right? Does that make sense? So clearly, and the way the industry works is it's kind of rare that you actually get a no. Usually you just don't hear anything ever. That's just the way it goes. So you just throw auditions out there into the universe. The ones you book, you get an email a week or two, sometimes a weird time, like 3 months later, they're like, remember this thing? You got it.
Was there a character you wished though?
Was there a character I wished for?
That you didn't
Look, they're doing a Ranma. There's a Ranma remake that's really fantastic, and I was a big fan of that show. So I would have loved to play somebody in that. I love Hakusai. Hakusai would have been awesome to play. I did audition for it. I didn't get it. I don't feel robbed. I don't feel like it was a problem. It's just the way it happens. So yeah, there's definitely something that I wish I had, but they don't focus on that. If you're working regularly, like you have succeeded. So I feel, hope it continues. I feel very blessed, and I'll take what the universe has given me. On that same flip side, huge fan of Lupin the Third. I love Tony Oliver as Lupin, as well as other people, Sonny Strait and Bob Bergen and everybody that's voiced him. And I did get an opportunity for 5 films to voice Lupin the Third. So sometimes it totally works out, and you're like, no way, I can't believe I get to do this. And other times it doesn't. It all works out in the wash. Good question, though, for sure. Yeah.
What was the first character you ever voiced?
Well, the first thing I ever did, something you wouldn't know, my uncle, I hadn't done voiceover. My uncle said, I know you do voices. I'm doing a project for some of my art, and I want tribal voices to read poetry. And so I did that. It's nothing you would know as Tribes of Shire. You never know that one. But that was the first thing I did. The next thing that I consider my first was really a cool one. Very, very cool. In fact, it was a really high point to start, and then I had to go and work my way up again. For Chuck Jones, there was a web series called Thomas Timberwolf. And Chuck Jones is the creator and director of quite a few Looney Tunes, so he created a number of those characters. So very well known, he's no longer with us. It was his final project. And I got to play like 6 original characters in this an early web series that had to use Flash because our computers couldn't handle anything else at that point. But as far as the audio, we recorded it just like anything else. I had a blast working on it, so that was what I consider to be my first professional gig.
I also have my working.
Ooh, well if that works for people online somehow, we can, I don't know if we put it up or you can hand it to them. Chris doesn't know this. I don't want it to be too much trouble, but.
Get software in hand first.
Okay, we'll go with that. Well, then you choose then. I don't need to pick it, right? No, I'll say yes. I meant that in like a non-sarcastic way. I meant that like no. It doesn't make sense for me to like tell you where to go. Like you pick whatever hand you saw. It takes pressure off of me. I like that.
You're just gonna play competitive and you get to pick. Who's next? Okay, cool.
Ooh, I like that.
So, what is it like working with the Overwatch voice actor team?
Oh, well, let me first off clarify. So, I have not had an opportunity to work with the other actors because we come in separately to record most of the time. I have heard some stories of some of the shorts where they did get to record together a few people, so that's cool, but most of it, I'd say 95% of the time, it's just us. But I will say, one of the things I like working with the folks, most about working with Blizzard, is first off, their writing is incredible. So when I get the scripts for Torbjorn, I love what they've done. They really put a lot of time into it. And I will say most games I work on, when I'm reading the script, I'll give you 2 to 3 takes of each one. You know, an A, B, and a C, or an A and a B. And you pretty much pick from there. Maybe if there's, you know what, how about this? They might direct me a little bit and I give a couple more passes. That happens. And if a line is difficult, you might throw 5 or 6 or 7 out there before you get something that is happy with, right? But generally between the 2 or 3 takes, we got it. Each line, boom, next, right? They are always very cool about it. I like it. They push me really hard, in a good way. They can be really interesting direction. It makes me look at the line a different way and go, oh, okay, all right, let me try that. And then of course I still get ideas and I go, ooh, I got another idea. So between all of that, we come up with really fun and different interpretations. And I love that because they care about the characters that much and they care about that world so much that they're like, ooh. And then when somebody, they say, listen, Keith, everything you've given us is gold. Like, we like it. It's not like, oh, that sucks, try this. But they're really looking for something extra special. And I absolutely love being pushed like that. You know what I mean? It's not a bad thing, it's a really good thing. Because they're doing it for the best of reasons, and we're getting the best we can get. So, yeah, they really work at that. And God, the writing is so good. It's great. Who else has got a question? So passes whoever's, wherever distance you want to walk. Or passes. Look at you guys, like a hot potato. Hot mic.
I asked some things very similar to Oliver. You have a lot of characters you can make known from, and have a lot of niche characters people say are their favorites. For me, it's Hawk Moth and then Speedwagon. Are there any characters that you played either current or in the past that people don't really know, you wish got more like attention?
I mean, yes and no. Sometimes I love Gal, and sometimes over time things end up getting more attention than anything. But there are projects that I particularly love. I mentioned Lupin III. Lupin is like huge in Japan. Lupin III. I find in the States, not as popular. Like, people know, how many of you know Lupin III is? But how many of you like regularly watch the series or all the movies or anything like that? Right, it's true, that's great, I appreciate it, that's awesome. But I find that it's not like that doesn't get the same attention, and that's one that I would love more people to see the 5 films that I had the opportunity to do. I'm a big fan that I liked One Piece film Gold a lot, and I love what I got to do with Gil Tesoro in that one, so I mean, that would be a nice one. I'll tell you the one series though, that I wish would be on like Adult Swim, Toonami, is Monster. So this series way back called Monster, which I don't think enough people have seen. It is coming out finally, like, whatever, 10 years later, on Blu-ray sometime this year, and we'll have English as a choice. I don't know what month it's coming out, but this year they announced Discotheque Media is putting it out, so Monster, yeah, is the one that I worked my way to. There we go. Thank you, good question. It's coming, look over here.
I asked Tony about this. When it came to Lupin the Third, there was two different versions of it. There was the comedy version, and there's the one from the drama series. Could you tell us how he was able to get the role of Lupin that is now serious and he is not like this comic?
Well, I wouldn't call him entirely serious in the way that I portrayed it. I know what you mean. First off, I never thought I'd get the opportunity. Like I said, I love Tony. He does a fantastic job at Lupin. Lupin is iconic for me. So it's weird to get this audition in an email where I actually had Jigen, they sent me Jigen and Lupin for me to read for. I read for both of them, did my best. I remember thinking in my head, here's the thing about Lupin, right? He is like the greatest thief, but he also gets into situations where if it weren't for his buddies, he wouldn't make it. You know what I mean? Like that happens frequently throughout the series and stuff, where you're like, well, I mean, greatest thief, yes, but it's not like so it makes sense, there's a bit of like bluster, but it's not, I mean, it's true, because he really is great, but he also was leaning on his friends a lot to pick up the slack here and there, right? That makes sense, it always works out for the team. So I remember feeling like that, I could definitely do that over, it's confidence and it's deserved, but it's also a little bit of overconfidence. Like he would never let you know that he's in a pickle, right? Because a lot of times it almost doesn't work out, and it just barely does by the skin of his teeth, which is a fun thing for us. It's exciting to watch that way, but he never loses his confidence. So I felt like that. I mean, I don't have the thieving skills, but I can do the bluster, and that's really what you're doing, is that you're believing that you're that good. And I've watched for so many years, so I gave my best interpretation of it. I still have that element of comedy if you watch any of the movies where it's appropriate. Right? There are times where he does a goofy sound when he's running or falling, or he's on the run and his knees are up extra high. So I incorporated that. It's just not used as much in the series. And then of course his bass voice, that's where it naturally is. You know, it's a little bit more, you know, it's a deeper voice. Tony has a higher voice. So we still got, both have the swagger in there. But mine's got a more of a depth to it, which I guess gives it a little bit more serious. And I'm sure Tony could do that too. Tony's incredibly talented. However it worked out, it lucked out. I got my 5 movies, and that's what I did. Yeah. Well, wherever you want to pass it to, you have the power. You have the power. You make the choice. The decision is yours.
So when you were originally going for Tournament, did they give you like a voice to do, or did you just come up with it on your own?
For Torbjorn, I got an email, and they gave, what's really cool, because if you, obviously, those of you who play Overwatch, mostly, if it's not a cutscene in one of the shorts, we pretty much have just one-liners. That's most of what we do, right? A little quick something, you know, ready to talk, right? Boom, that's it, next line, right? I got a monologue for the audition. So they gave me this whole thing where I'm going off on technology today and how I don't like these talking tin cans, and he was kind of crotchety. Like the way it was written, you know what I mean? It gave me a lot of his sass and his attitude that was in there. Because he looks like a dwarf, the first thing I did, I knew he was Swedish, so I didn't want to do Scottish, but I remember just where I placed him, I wanted to go Scottish. You know what I mean? So when I was doing it, a little bit of Scottish was creeping in, and I was like, no. So I remember having to like focus a little bit longer to just like train my brain that I can do that spot vocally without putting a Scottish dialect on it. So I did, and I had a lot of fun with it. I remember really getting into that, having a lot of like natural breaths and like little noises. You know, because when you don't like something, you're like, you know, all those little bits came out and it felt very natural. So I was very happy to send it off. Look, I had no idea I was going to book it. But I did what I said earlier, where I said, I'm happy with this audition. I'm going to send it. And luckily they were too, and because I mean, that's been a huge thing. I mean, Overwatch was really, in so many ways, so good for my career and so good for me. So I'm very thankful to book that role.
And when you did these shorts, were you guys like face to face, or was it another move over?
I have not recorded Overwatch with any other actors, me personally. So he's not been in any of the shorts, the little cutscenes that you have. I recorded solo too. Now, if they've already recorded the other actor, they might play the line that comes in before mine. Most of the time, most of the dialogue is we have a new character, their name's so-and-so, here's when you're standing with them before the match starts, and they have to be next to you, and they'll read it for me. You know what I mean? They'll read whoever's line, whether it's Doomfist or whoever, they'll read that line and go, okay, cool, and I respond with my line right after and give you 3 passes. So yeah, I love to record with them. That's just not the way, it doesn't make sense financially to have us all in the room and pay us all for a session, and then it takes 4 times as long. Does that make sense? Yeah.
How do you think the voice acting industry is different and the same in like Japan and also like other languages too, besides just English in the US?
Well, I don't know if I can tell you how it's different in Japan because I don't know how they do things in Japan. To be totally honest with you. But I can tell you how it's changed over the years. Does that work?
Sure.
Okay. Because I haven't recorded in other countries. I don't know what would be different about there. One of the biggest changes, I think, is we used to go to every audition. So your agent would tell you, I need you at this address, which could be as far as an hour away, even without traffic, it could be an hour away, and you have a time slot, and you sit there in a lobby with a bunch of other actors, and then you write your name on the call-in sheet, and then they go, Silverstein, and you walk in the door and you greet, and then they go, thanks a lot, and then you drive an hour to get home. Or you drive to your next audition, right? So one of the biggest things is technology. So that rarely happens now. They send out an email to our agencies. Our agents send the emails to the appropriate actors that would make sense for this, whether it's male, female, or age-wise, or ethnicity, whatever makes sense, they send it out to us. And we reform and we just email them. And that's huge. So I can do a lot more auditions, a lot more sessions in a day because I don't have to spend 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours on just one audition. So that's a huge thing. You have a little bit of freedom, you're in your house, you do it at your timing, you just have to do it before it's due. That's one of the things. We can also record at home for sessions, although I prefer to go to the studio, so I go to the studio whenever I can. Trying to think what else has kind of changed. Oh, the other thing that's changed is when I got into this industry, back in about 2000, you didn't have any expectations of fame or your name being out there. Because that's not really how it works. I mean, yeah, we all knew Mel Blanc, there were a few actors that people could name potentially, but for the most part, you guys were not paying attention to the actors. You enjoyed the shows, the games, but you weren't like, oh, that's so-and-so, and this is who this is. That wasn't a factor yet. Even in the gaming magazines, when I used to game all the time and read the reviews for games, they would rate, the graphics, the music, the gameplay. They didn't even have a rating for voiceover at that point. Now they clearly do. They have for a long time now. So that's something that's changed. So we never had expectations like, I'm going to go do conventions and meet people and sign stuff. Why would you do that? You know what I mean? You're just doing the job and you're like, it's very cool. I love it. I think it's awesome. It's nice to get some appreciation for all this stuff. It's icing on the cake, if you will. But that's one of the big changes. That was not really part of the career before.
So you as a voice actor from Sonic the Hedgehog, I have a 2-part question.
Okay, 2-part.
Number 1, what was it like working in with Sega? And number 2, what was your hardest line?
I heard Sega, what? Work with Sega for what?
What was it like working with Sega? And
Like Sonic?
yeah.
Okay.
And what was your hardest line for Vector?
Ooh, I don't know if I know a hardest line for Vector. I love working with Sega. They care very much about Sonic the Hedgehog. I take it for years. I've been doing Vector since 2010, and I've had a blast on every game that we've worked on. One of the things I have these toys. I have these toys that came out years ago, like Team Chaotix, and for as long as I had worked on Sonic, I've never interacted with Team Chaotix. Right? I mean, Vector's the leader of Chaotix, but I never was It just never happened. I always talk to Sonic in the games. I say, you know, like, hey Sonic, watch out for this, or whatever, right? That's what I do. But I don't talk with DPI. So just recently, last year, we recorded Chaotic's Case Files, which is a podcast. I think it's 8 episodes total. And we worked really, really hard on it. I got to work with Team Chaotics in the room with me, all of us, doing our thing. And it was the first time I got to like explore the character in a larger way. And it was a dream project for me. And man, I spent so much time and so much care into directing it and making sure it's understandable, because it's audio only, right? So they even had to do rewrites, like, I don't know if people understand who's saying this line now, or that they're throwing something, or that somebody's fallen. So between sound effects and the rewrites, they really worked hard to get this product out and have it be good. And that was my favorite thing that I've done. I thought it was such an amazing crescendo to do that. I don't know that was a hard line. He's a vocally stressful character, so we did have to work on how I can sustain that voice for like a 3 to 4 hour session. When we're doing the games, a lot of times we limit it to 2 hours, so that I'm not doing that raspy thing for like 4 hours straight. But they've been really good about that too, so they don't want to like kill me. So I didn't say that. Like, you're not killing me. And then we have a one pass or someone up here. Has got a question? Yeah.
What has it been like working as Jean Dave Genshin?
Well, Genshin has been a wonderful surprise for me. I've been in the industry long enough to know that you don't work on a project and expect it to be a huge worldwide success. I mean, you can. You're going to be wrong 99.9% of the time. Even things that are good and people like, you know, when it's popular, the game drops and you get about 2 weeks of everybody talking about it, and it's the biggest thing, and then it, you know, slowly fades into everything else. Because guess what happens? Another game comes out. Oh my God, what about this game? What about this show? What about that? Every once in a while, something drops, and it just explodes. Now, I was having fun working on it. It wasn't out when I started, but some of the actors joined in later, so they knew it was a big deal. Like, oh my God, I got that part of Genshin Impact. It didn't mean anything to me. It was another job that I liked working on. I had a good time. It seemed great. Writing was cool. But once it blew up, it totally surprised me. I was very happy with that. It's really nice when something's popular. It doesn't mean you get more work. You know, it's nice to get some appreciation for the stuff too. I don't need it, but it's very nice. And the coolest thing about him is when I have a decent amount of dialogue. And sometimes I don't. How many of you guys play Genshin? Okay, so how often is it just like a lantern light or a little trailer, and you watch, it's like a 2-minute thing, and you hear me go at the end or somewhere in the middle, I go, interesting. That's it, that's my job, that's it, that's the whole thing, that's all I say. Because they have like 20 characters they're trying to show in the trailer, right? So sometimes I literally go in and it's just that, it's just like 1 or 2 lines of dialogue. But when it's something like the Age House Saga, and you're doing that, it's very relaxing for me, because I get to drop my voice to this place here and say things quite slowly, but with a lot of purpose. And in doing so, it relaxes me, it meditates me. And a lot of people go, oh my God, it's so relaxing when I listen to Jean Lee. And I'm like, well, that makes sense, because it's relaxing to do it. So we're both in that same vibe. That part is not even acting. I just remind myself, if it's appropriate, to slow down. Oh, well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Oh my goodness. It must be my birthday. Yay. There's no way I'm going to drink all that, but I said much. Let's go. All right, next question. I got some big to do.
This is kind of piggybacking off of questions and also bringing it back to Hawkmoth. In the Miraculous movie, I don't know if any of your other roles were of this, but you had to sing for that. Is that any different from like voice acting? I know those two go hand in hand a lot of the time, but it's still so much different than voice acting. So I was wondering if that was like what you had to do to prepare for that, and how you felt about like actually like using your voice to that extent.
It is not the same. It is totally different. I mean, there are people who are singers and they act as well. That's one of them. I'm not a singer. meaning that's not my trained thing. So when I get an audition that comes across my desk for a Disney show that's a musical show that I know I would have a song in every episode, I usually don't audition for that. Because it takes me a long time to learn a song and to get it right. And it's just not my thing. Like, you're singing, you're like, I got it. What are the notes? Cool. Let me see the music. I got it. Cool. And I super respect that. For me, it's different. So when Jeremy said we're doing this, there's going to be singing in it. Jeremy Zag, the creator of Rango. So I was like, okay. And I said, he said, would you want to sing your song? And I was like, I would love to, because I hate it in a movie. It's funny that I said this, because you've seen it, right? I said, yeah, I really hate it when one character is talking and they start singing and it's totally somebody else. I said, it's not my favorite thing. I know sometimes that has to happen, because if you got an actor already cast and they can't sing or whatever the case is, you do that. So I literally just sang something for him, and he was like, I think you can do it. And I said, okay. I just didn't want any surprises. Like, I didn't want to act like I'm this crazy. Like, here's what I can do. I'll sing something I know for you. And I said what I would like is to have the song as early as possible, as much time to practice with it as possible. So they gave me plenty of time. I started doing vocal warm-ups, different singing warm-ups every morning, even though it was like months away, weeks away. I was like, no, I'm gonna do all kinds of singing warm-ups and everything every day and keep working on what little bits they're giving me. And then I got to work with, the first time I went in, I worked with Harvey Mason Jr., who, I mean, has an incredible, resume of music. It helped direct me, which I definitely need. I'm sure he was like, who's this guy who's not a singer? This guy, when you watch like the Grammys, he's like a musical director. That's who we're talking about, right? So, so they were very patient with me. They worked with me. I got to do as many takes as necessary. I could break the song up. And worked hard. It was the most nervous I think I've ever been, because I didn't hear the final song until it was out. So I had to sit with my family and be like, oh, please don't suck. Thank you very much. We worked really, really hard. I think it came out good. I'm proud of it. But it was a lot of work, so I'm glad it worked. It was a bucket list for me too. It was like a Disney villain song style thing, so I was very happy. Yeah, I'm kidding. No, that side's cool too. You guys are cool.
So sitting next to me is our Overwatch team program player. We were wondering, are there any tips for him?
No, because if you play Torts a lot? Because listen, I play Torts whenever I play, because I feel like if I'm going to give it to anybody, it should be Torben. I don't play enough to be even good. So I'm okay, and if I'm with the right team and it works, I play no matter what. So as you know, your team makeup is important. I'm the guy that screws up the makeup because I'm like, I'm Torts, I'm not changing it. Because I don't know anybody else, and trust me, I'm going to do worse if you give me anybody else. So I plan whether it's appropriate or not. Sometimes it works out really nicely, and I have a good game because the team worked out, everything worked out, and I get lucky. But there's no way I can give you any tips. The only tip I can say is, I'm going to forget the line. Don't get your beer caught in the liquor box. That's the tip I can give you. But if you know that, you're good to go. But I love it, man. I love it when you play in the main course. It's awesome. You don't want to play tips for me on Overwatch. You got to know. His gun kind of arcs a little bit, so keep that in mind. You're like, I know. I'm like, say I don't have any tips for you. You're too good. Hi.
It's going to be a very random question.
Yay, those are my favorite.
Very obsessed with story of seasons. So what was it like to play a much older character like Stuart?
Give me the full title of Story of Seasons.
Story of Seasons, Grand Bazaar.
I'm trying to remember what this is now. I'm being honest. I'm like, what's the character's name?
Stuart, you were the old man.
I'm the old man. I've been playing old man characters. I was doing old man voices in high school, like just for fun, and I was like, hey, Sonny, how's it going? I just thought that was fun. And some of my favorite characters have been, like in Godzilla Singular Point, I play an old guy who's pretty funny. In Black Fu, I play an old guy, Ruel, who's pretty fun to play. So whether they're serious or not, I always have a good time with that. I really do. I like putting experiences in my voice and age to different extents. If they're old and goofy, it's an extra plus. Although I have no problem playing someone who's old. Oh, I remember this dude. Oh yeah, he's adorable. I love when they ask me to do that. Like I really do. I think I like it. I have fun with that. I'm proud of some of the performances I've already put out there, so I feel like it's something I can do. I mean, other people can do it also. But yeah, it's fun. All those little characters are fun.
He's the hay sprout guy.
He's the hay sprout guy. Does everybody sprout?
He calls you sprout.
Is he a little bit goofy?
Like really in love with his wife. It's actually just really wholesome.
Aw, wholesome is fun to play too, because I'm a degenerate. So it's nice to get to play wholesome every now and then. I'm not. Well, maybe a little bit. Let's go wholesome. Thank you guys for helping out with Mike. This is fun. We're all working together here. We're a team.
Picking off, just a question over there. My friend here plays a lot of tour, and like your other characters that you play.
Wait, you do play tour? Yes.
What's your favorite tour line?
It changed a little bit, but I will say, I'll give you 2 lines. Well, one of them I don't remember the full line, so I'll tell you the story first, and then I'll give you what my favorite is. Generally, I like when he complains. That's fun with me, when he's complaining instead of when he is also a lot, but when Ricky does something nice and he's proud. Those are fun to do too. There's a line that didn't make it into the series that, at the beginning when we were recording before it was out, there was a lot of dialogue. And as you know, there's a lot of references to other pop culture things in there. Funny, this took me years to figure out, but when he says, I'm giving it all I've got, I did not get the reference on that. You guys know the references, right? Do you know it? He's an engineer. It's Star Trek. It's freaking Star Trek. It's so obvious. And it took me years to realize, oh my God, that's a Star Trek reference. And I totally knew it. So when he does that, that's what that is. Because he's an engineer. So we had a line where he said something about being more of a doctor. I consider myself more of a Dr. Light than a Dr. Riley, which didn't make it into it. I've heard the line because if they mine out all the lines, all the dialogue on YouTube, and you can hear lines that never made it. But I love that line because 3 years after I recorded that line, I got cast as Dr. Riley. That makes me laugh now that he said that. I kind of wish he were in the game, but I get it. My favorite is, I worked hard on that! Because I love when he's whining. That's my favorite stuff. Yeah. Well, that's weird. I want to be here. And I hope that's what they were going to go here.
Hello. I have quite a few questions that I can go to someone else and come back with.
Yes, you do your best one, and then we'll, yeah.
They're all probably bad. The first one is, there's some rumors or maybe some false hope that in the Overwatch community there will be some show based on the lore in Overwatch. I think everyone kind of seems to want that. Is there anything that you know that's in the works for it, or is it something that you would even be interested in, or other actors would be interested in?
Sure, that's a good question. I mean, first off, I would totally be interested in that. That would be really cool. It's kind of a dream when it dropped. A lot of us were like, oh my God, this is so huge. I hope we get in the shorts. They're so incredible. I hope they did the series. I hope it's going to happen. I will say, this is never something, if it were in any way in the works or whatever, we would never be able to talk about that. So I'm not going to talk about whether it's happening or not happening or whatever. I do know that I've been told that early on, they had votes for this. And they half of the team was like, let's do it. And just a little more than half was like, there were reasons to just focus on the game. So, I hope that happens one day. It would be great. I don't know. I mean, it feels like the time to have done it, the best time would have been when it was just insane, a year into it or so. It would have made a lot of sense. I think it would have interest still, right? I mean, you're asking. I think people would still be interested. So, I would love for it to happen, but that's as much as I can say. Yeah, it'd be cool.
I guess if anyone wants to go, I can say that.
Yeah, we got some others. Thank you. Just because I'd love to hear all your questions, I want to make sure everybody gets a chance.
So since the Fallout series did so well, do you think there would be an Elder Scrolls series?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right, the live action Fallout. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going, I'm ready to Fallout. I was trying to figure out what I don't know. That would be cool though. Who knows? I I don't know. I mean, that's all a big. I guess I'm trying to think. I feel like Elder Scrolls would be more expensive to do. I think, right? Because of the creatures and stuff. Like, it becomes a thing where you gotta use some CG and things like that. Like, you have no choice. So, and then there's so many different, the Argonians, and you know what I mean? Like, and then you got the Khajiit. So you have to make those within the world. So I feel like it'd be expensive. And there's big stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like you're like Lord of the Rings and all that. Any of that fantasy stuff. So I don't know if it would have enough draw to be its own separate thing. I mean, it's just me just spitballing. Be cool though. I played the hell out of that game. I love that. I played until my system froze every single time my toe even touched water. I don't know what happened, but that happened enough times where I had to restart it every time that I was like, I'm done. Thank you, universe, you made a decision for me, because that is too frustrating. I have to touch water every now and then.
And what's your favorite line from the Elder Scrolls that you get?
What do you think it is? I don't know what it is, but what do you think?
It's something about a cloud district.
You told me now. You just set me up, yeah. You get to the cloud district very often. Ugh, what a mistake. Of course you don't. Obviously, that's the line right there. And I very much love all the weird musical numbers and things that people have forced on my character that you can find on YouTube. I've laughed probably more at that stuff than anything else in my life, because I don't expect it. And when I just start singing out of nowhere, I'm sorry, what? Who did this and how? So it's pretty funny. We got one here. I got some over here. You guys are awesome. With this kind of teamwork, we can change the world, you guys.
I know you've recently voiced Char Aznavour in Gundam.
I didn't know that.
Do you have a favorite NECA from the series?
Do I have my favorite what? This is Mac?
Their neck, yeah.
I think I'm kind of partial to the Sananju. I think so. I mean, yeah, the Sananju I know is classic for him, my best. But for what I like, I'm like, full frontal, the Sananju was cool. That one I did. But there's so many. There's a lot of incredible ones. I wouldn't even be able to name all of them, but I do follow on Instagram a couple of the Gundam model builders who are really good, and they always pose them with like, so it looks like there's a waterfall flowing over them. I mean through models. It's all models, none of it's CG, where they have them set like in a case and like everything. That's just amazing. I know, so I love seeing that, so I follow a couple of people like that.
I have another two-parter for you.
Yeah.
You said that you kind of familiarized with the chaotics. My first part of my question is, who is your favorite chaotics character, and who is your favorite, what is your favorite line for Vector?
Sure. Well, Vector is clearly my favorite. I get very attached. I guess I would choose Charmy if I had to choose. I think it's great too. There's only three of us in the main core group. I do like how they all work together, because now with the podcast, it's the first time I've seen that. The first time I've seen them interact and how, what role they all play in that. Do I have a favorite Vector line? I mean, I'm trying to think if it was something from the podcast I really liked. I just love that he got to do the detective thing. So for those of you who haven't heard the podcast, there's a free podcast called Chaotic Case Files. There's 8 episodes. So Vector does this, it opens up with Vector doing like half his voice, where he's like a detective, which I can't get in improv because it's very specific detective jargon, you know what I mean? It was a city street and everything was cold. The city was cold enough to freeze your groceries, that kind of stuff. And he does that stuff, and then you get like Charmy going, hey, you're in the bathroom there, are you making that voice? What are you doing? Like it's a funny whole thing that he does this voice to tell the entire story. But that's my favorite thing I got to do, is to flip back and forth between the detective version of him and the full-fledged version of Vector.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So is there like one specific character that was your favorite to voice out of all the characters you've done?
Dude, that's the most popular question that I get, which I totally understand. It's hard to have a favorite. Here's what I tell people. I say, my favorite character is always my next character, because my next character means I still have a career. which is really true, because I am currently Vector right now, right? So until they make another decision, you know, hopefully they won't soon, I get to be Vector. So that's like set, like cool, and you can do that with any of my characters, right? But the next one, because 3 weeks from now, I don't have a job. I mean, that's actors for you. Generally speaking, if you go 3 weeks out, I have nothing on the books. 2 weeks out, I may have stuff on the books. 1 week out, I generally have stuff on the books. Sometimes, I'm like, I got a job on Monday, and nothing else. Now, odds are eventually, Overwatch is gonna call, right? You know what I mean? Eventually, you know, Sonic Sage's gonna call, you know what I mean? Like, that stuff's going to happen because there's a lot of run-on games and shows that, you know, Genshin's gonna call, like all these shows and stuff are gonna, and games are gonna call. So it will happen. But why would you have a favorite? Because they're the most fun, because you loved working with the cast, because you got to work with a great director that you were looking forward to working with, because it was the most challenging, because you got to do a voice you always wanted to do, or a character you always wanted to do, you made the most money off of it, it's the most popular, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of ways, so it's hard to say that's my favorite, because usually there's not a single character that hits all of those marks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I have a lot of them that I love, and you guys are a factor to that too. Because when you guys come up and go, oh my, like, I'll give you an example, Mechamaru, okay? I mean, I worked like 4 hours on that, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, right? And I loved it. What did I know about the guy? I was like, oh, I get to curse? Cool. This is fun, and I enjoyed it. And then I was done. But now we're like 15 years later, and I still have people come up today and go, oh my God, I love Mondo, I love Jumon, I love this. And people are like, I just played it, they put it out again on this new system, and I'm like, oh my God, all these people are new players to this game that's forever ago, and it lives on. So there's one that would never have been one of my favorites, not because it's not a cool character, it's just, you gotta understand our schedules, you know what I mean? That was Tuesday 15 years ago for 4 hours, and then I went and did another game, and then the next day I did a show, but it's you guys, your love for these characters, when they're important to you, even if they weren't more important than the others to me, they suddenly get elevated. Because you love this character, and that actually means a lot to me. Right? Does that make sense? Like, it's amazing, because now I'm like, oh, people love this character, and they've told me, and a few people have cried over this character because they love this character so much. So, when it's your comfort character, it becomes very important to me, even more so.
So I have a small two-parter. So first one, I was going to ask what your favorite tour line was. What was the funnest to record?
What was the most recent thing I recorded?
What was the funnest line you recorded for tour, if you had to pick one?
Oh. When I got to go like, there was a trailer for the Warcraft thing, and I got to go, Torbjorn, lean home! And I got to go, at least it's not chicken. And if you guys know that meme, that was really fun. So I was like, oh, that's the Leroy Jenkins vibe, if you guys know that. So that was the most fun, because I was like, oh, I can't believe we're doing this. Let's go. Let's do it.
I have a small, kind of like, conspiracy question. So, do you think in the Overwatch world that someday Torb and Eevee will possibly, like, coincide?
Sorry, in the Overwatch world, I think
That Eevee, Ursa's creator, and Torb will possibly coincide one day?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it would be cool. Who knows? Who knows? That's all secret stuff. And by the way, any of those things that I answered, I'm only speculating on. I would never like, oh, I know this, so let me tell people. I can't tell you how many people are like, when are the chaotics gonna get to be together? Like, dude, you're preaching to the choir. I wish. That would be amazing, dude. Meanwhile, I'm like, Tuesday is happening again.
So I know your voice from a lot of different things. You've been in a lot of roles that I've experienced over my life.
Yeah.
Would you say you like playing more villainous or heroic characters, or just like good, bad? Like, because most of my favorite roles for you are in villain roles. If I'm being for real, Shido's my favorite role for me.
I do enjoy playing villains more, but to be fair, the most important thing for me in my career that keeps it interesting and fun is that I get to do different characters. So if I only got villains, and I didn't get to play Vector or Torbjorn, you know what I mean, or Tasir, or any of the better characters and stuff, or nicer characters, the heroes, which I do here and there. or Simon Belmont, or, like, I like playing those too. And I like the quirky characters. I like the characters that are in the middle. You know what I mean? Like, Hisoka is technically a villain, but like in the series, he does everything to help our heroes. So he's more of a comrade than that. Every time he shows up, we're like, oh, is he going to help them or is he going to kill them? What's going to happen? And he's quirky and different, and I like that. So yes, I don't want to only play villains though, because I would start to get a little bored of that. And I'd be like, how come I never get to play a good guy? But I do. So it's okay.
So my favorite voice to do is Speedwagon, and I always want to ask somebody who's worked on JoJo's Bizarre Adventures.
Okay.
What is your favorite stand and stand use in JoJo's?
I think you've seen more. See, I'm a Hamon guy. Because I've only watched the first two. And I've seen bits and pieces of more. But I watched the first two seasons when it was, it was airing on Toonami, and I did live tweeting, Twitter with everybody because I wanted to understand the fandom. I wanted to see what people thought of it. I wanted to kind of just be in that vibe, and it was really fun. I haven't done that in a while, but I did do that, and at the time it was fun. There were a bunch of shows. They were playing that, and the 100 was on. One of the 100s was on. I think it was Unicorn. So they were all kind of playing, and I got to see where everybody was at with those. So I don't have a particular favorite. I love all the music references and stuff in there. And I know that there's been some Prince influence. I'm a huge Prince fan, so that stuff I really, really dig on. But I don't know that I have a favorite of those just because I haven't watched enough. Like, even if I told you one, I'd be like, yeah, for the two that I know, it's not. You know what I mean? Like, if I saw all, I'd be like, oh my God, no, I got a favorite for you. It's hard to watch everything because you got to really make time. And it's like, I want to see a little bit of everything I've done so that I can relate to you guys because it's very different recording it. You can only see some of it than watching it. Watching it is a different experience, so I try to, but also have shows that have nothing to do with it. I gotta watch my Daredevil or whatever, I gotta watch that stuff too. So you gotta balance it. It's hard. And we got somebody over here, maybe back to this side that much. So I don't think more that side.
Is it okay? If you don't mind, I'd love to pick your brain a little bit on when you get a new role that is maybe an accent you're not familiar with, or a way of speaking that you're not familiar with, or sort of like a new persona. How do you get yourself into that headspace? What resources do you find you go to, or like how do you kind of, learn the character when you get a new one?
Well, here's the thing with voiceover. It's very different than a lot of on-camera stuff. With most of the voiceover, you don't have to memorize the scripts. So therefore, you don't usually get the scripts, depending on what it is. Sometimes maybe a week before, at most, if it's an original series, I'll get it. It's like I go in either by myself or I've got to be ready to go with all the actors. So you do want to see your script ahead of time, read through it, know what's happening, get the concept of the show, understand the pacing of the show. Like, is it a fast pace where boom, lines go like this and that's part of the way it works? Or is it a very mellow, kind of serious, slower paced show? If you come in and you're like, boom, with all this energy, you're like, no, the show is like, take it down, right? So we rely a lot on the director. Because with most of the stuff I do for anime, for most video games, you go in and you're like, what are we doing? Sometimes you get cast and you've never even seen the character. Or they say, we have an extra character for you to play. So you're learning it right there while you're there. And they'll describe the character, you'll get their age, they'll show you the character, they'll tell you what they know about the character. And then you work together for about a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes to kind of hone in a voice for that character. And then you start going. So you really do need to rely on the director. They know the whole game, or enough of it, you know what I mean, to get you there. And then personally, I either use empathy to get to there, or I use the experience in my life. So if I'm supposed to be somebody that had a major loss in their life, I might pull from a major loss I've had in my life and just kind of impose that. So my loss, I know, is something different than, the character is different loss than me, but in my head, I mix the two up. So I personally go, okay, this is who I lost in my life, this is what I lost, let's pretend it's that. You know what I mean? So that it feels more real and I know how to associate with that character, who they are. You're very welcome. I think we got time for a few more. Obviously, any trick that works in acting, you can use your own experiences, you can make it up, it doesn't matter. As long as it works, as long as what you do is believable. Yeah.
So, part question. What was your favorite part about voicing Hawk the Miraculous?
Mm-hmm.
And is voicing over for French different than Japanese?
Well, here, yes, it is different because I've done a number of shows that were originally in French, but it's kind of in the writing that's a little bit different. But the main thing for it, because I love working on Miraculous, but just to explain how Miraculous works a little different than you think. Because on Miraculous, it's not in French, it's not animated to French, at least my characters aren't. They actually have somebody do a scratch track, which is a temporary track, meaning they were never intended to be the final Hawk Moth. So when I get it, it's already animated to someone, this is Hawk Moth. So it's in English. Sometimes it's not great English, but it's English, and it's animated. And what they do, which is really interesting, and it's always driven me crazy on that. And this will explain it for all you guys who wonder why Hawk Moth sometimes talks so much, like it's such a mouthful to say. They record this actor who's whispering. Whispering is different than full mouth talking, by the way, full voice talking. It's a different energy. So you can whisper and you can go very quickly with things, but then you have to do the full mouth thing, it's harder to do. Because you're trying to do this with it, right? And it takes longer to do that, right? So they record that person, they cut out every single breath that person takes, put it all together so it's like, are you kidding me? And then I have to go, and somehow make the entire thing work very quickly, even though I'm changing what I'm doing, and I'm doing this thing and that thing and the other thing, and plus you don't even realize that there's more that's going on, so I have to explain all of it, and I have to do all of that without running out of breath. So if you've ever wondered why he has crazy run-on sentences, it's because I have no choice. Different in the movie we recorded first, and the animated was. So in the movie, you don't have those run-on sentences, you didn't need them. Or if they are, it's because they put it together. So we took the natural breaths that you would take in a film because we could. So that's one of the big differences on Miraculous. And you'll notice that it's not just me, listen to Marinette, and she goes, and it's crazy, like, oh my god, they forced her to do this crazy thing that Christine Thompson was able to do.
Did you have a favorite part about like working on it or like working the cast?
I think it's a real, something about Miraculous. There's the demographic is probably supposed to be like 5 years old to like 12. However, it goes so far beyond that. A lot of people watch it well beyond age 12. Not only that, a lot of people in college are like, well, I've been watching it for 8 years, so I'm gonna finish it. So I'm gonna keep watching it. It makes me feel happy, it reminds me of my childhood. And not only that, I mean, there are parents who, after hearing it enough times on the TV while they're kind of around the kids watching it, they're like, wait, are they getting together? Like, what's happening? There's something into it. So there's something very special about Miraculous, and it is one of the like maybe 4 things I've done that just worldwide that you can point to. You can have a whole career and never be like, this is the most popular show in the world. You know, or you can be really, really lucky and that happens a few times. And that to me is one of the ones where it was just at one point, it was literally the biggest like animated series like, in the world, or one of the. And that's a real special thing too, because that means all of y'all, like so many people love it. And I love now how people who used to love it are like, oh, I don't still watch it, but I'm like, shut up, you watched it.
It's so much better too.
Just admit it. Yeah, it has, they improved it as they've gone.
Yes.
But it was lightning in a bottle for sure, people still love it. Where we at? 2 minutes ago, time for one more question. Who's got a deal right next to you? Okay, you're the one. Let's go. Okay, I want to wait a second.
Oh yeah, I know, I realized it was off. How do you...
There's a
switch.
My God, we go quick. Let's do this quick so we get to your questions too, okay?
What's the most recent thing you've recorded for that you can talk about, or something that you've recorded for already that's coming out soon that you're really excited for?
Well, there's lots of things I've recorded that I'm really excited about. I'm not going to take up any of those because I like my career. That's been cool.
That you're able to talk about.
Most of the, so I can talk about is the Case Files that came out. The last season of Beastars is out now. There's a new season of Doro that is out now. I mean, those things are all stable. You know those things. Requiem came out, Resident Evil, so, and then I just had 2 Lupin movies that just both dropped in the last 3 months or what have you, so that's what I can say. And there's lots of cool stuff. It's here. You'll be happy. It's cool. Oh, I'm gonna be happy. Hopefully you're happy.
Really quick, how often do you ad-lib and how often noodles get into any of the lines that you record?
Yeah, good question.
And then really quick, what's your favorite rock?
My favorite rock?
Yes.
Rock and roll! That's my favorite rock. Say by Dash from Skylanders. I improv a lot, but it depends on the show. So I don't improv a lot for John Williams. He's very specifically written, he sounds very poetic and he talks, so it's very rare that I go, oh, I can make this line better. Does that make sense? Because it's like he's saying very specific things in that lore that I don't know what I'm about. So the writers are usually right on that stuff. But on something like the Litter Force or Sailor Moon, I go crazy. Because you can, and they use it. And I mean, I feel like Litter Force, for those who know it, is probably like 10% improv, which is actually a lot. Not just me, everybody. 10% improv is a lot. So we throw things out, and our stuff is sometimes funny, or sometimes it is, they keep it. If it's not, they keep the other one, which is the way it should be, to get the best of both worlds. And we'll get ready for something else, another panel. So listen, I'm gonna go back, I'll be at my table. If you guys wanna come by and say hi, thank you for coming out. Give yourself a round of applause.
Don't forget right here.